Released in 2022, Strange World was a high-budget Disney animated film directed by Don Hall, known for Big Hero 6 and Raya and the Last Dragon. With a budget of $180 million and a global box office of only $73 million, the film suffered estimated losses exceeding $100 million. Initially envisioned as the start of a new franchise, poor test screenings led Disney to drastically cut marketing, further limiting audience reach. The story follows Searcher Clade, voiced by Jake Gyllenhaal in his first Disney animated role, as he ventures into an uncharted realm. Notably, the film featured Disney's first openly gay teen protagonist, Ethan Clade, whose sexuality was presented casually within the narrative, including a scene about his crush on Diazo. While some praised this approach for normalizing representation, others felt the focus on identity politics overshadowed character depth and plot. In addition, Strange World carried strong environmental and anti-capitalist themes, portraying industrial expansion as harmful to nature. Critics argued the messaging was too overt, reducing the sense of adventure and emotional connection. Combined with its muted marketing, mixed reviews, and divisive themes, the film became one of Disney's most notable animated financial failures in recent years. Pixar's Lightyear, released in 2022, carried a $200 million production budget, but earned just $226 million globally, leading to an estimated loss of around $100 million once marketing and distribution costs were factored in. The film served as an origin story for Buzz Lightyear, but notably replaced longtime voice actor Tim Allen with Chris Evans, a decision that sparked public disappointment from Allen himself and stirred controversy among fans. The story followed Buzz in a standalone sci-fi adventure unrelated to the main Toy Story continuity. A central point of discussion was a same-sex kiss between two female characters, reinstated after Pixar employees protested its removal during production. This marked the first same-sex kiss in the Toy Story universe and was hailed by some as a milestone for representation. However, others saw it as politically driven, arguing it was inserted for ideological reasons rather than story necessity. The kiss led to bans in over 14 international markets, cutting into potential revenue. Combined with lukewarm reviews and criticism that it undermined the nostalgic legacy of Buzz Lightyear, the film failed to achieve the universal family appeal of earlier Pixar titles. As a result, Lightyear became one of Pixar's most divisive and costly projects. The Proud Family reboot, Louder and Prouder, debuted on Disney Plus between 2022 and 2023, bringing back the original voice cast, including Kyla Pratt and Tommy Davidson, while adding high-profile guest stars such as Lizzo, Lil Nas X, and Keke Palmer. The show's creators openly stated their intent to push boundaries with the revival, a choice that would define much of the public conversation around it. Unlike its early 2000s predecessor, leaned heavily into politically charged and socially conscious themes. Episodes directly addressed systemic racism, reparations, and LGBTQ+ issues, often through dialogue that was explicit and unapologetic. One viral moment featured the characters chanting, "Slaves built this country," which ignited heated online debates about the appropriateness of political discourse in children's programming. While some viewers praised the series for tackling real-world topics with honesty, many parents felt alienated, arguing the show crossed the line from entertainment into political messaging. Critics described it as more educational than comedic, which they claimed reduced its broad appeal. Despite the cultural conversation it sparked, the show faced pushback from those who believed its tone and messaging were too divisive for a family audience, affecting its reception and long-term rewatch potential. Nimona, released in 2023, had a $50 million budget and a complicated production history. Initially developed at Blue Sky Studios, the project was shelved when Disney shut the studio down in 2021. Annapurna Pictures later revived the film for Netflix with Chloe Grace Moretz voicing Nimona and Riz Ahmed as Ballister Boldheart. The film follows a rebellious, gender-fluid shapeshifter and her partnership with a disgraced knight. It prominently features a central gay romance between two male knights, positioning LGBTQ+ representation as a core part of the narrative rather than a side element. This bold inclusion, combined with the protagonist's defiance of traditional gender norms, earned the film praise from critics for embracing inclusivity and challenging genre conventions. While Nimona was celebrated for its animation quality and progressive messaging, some viewers felt the social themes were delivered too overtly, overshadowing pacing and plot development. The heavy focus on representation over subtle world-building led certain audiences to see it as more of a political statement than a balanced fantasy adventure. Despite critical acclaim, the polarizing reception among general viewers limited its broader cultural impact and underscored the challenges of blending activist messaging with mainstream animated storytelling. Elemental, released in 2023 by Pixar, carried a $200 million budget and initially underperformed at the box office. Despite a slow theatrical start, it ultimately grossed $496 million worldwide and became one of Disney's biggest streaming successes after its Disney Plus release. Directed by Peter Sohn, the film was heavily inspired by Sohn's Korean-American upbringing and his parents' immigrant experience. Set in Element City, the story used its characters, living embodiments of fire, water, earth, and air, as a metaphor for immigration, racial segregation, and cultural integration. The central romance between Ember, a fire element, and Wade, a water element, symbolized breaking cultural barriers and challenging prejudice. These themes were at the forefront of the film's narrative, making its social commentary explicit rather than subtle. While some praised Elemental for tackling complex issues in a family-friendly format, others criticized it for being heavy-handed and overly preachy, claiming the messaging overshadowed Pixar's trademark charm and emotional storytelling. The film's metaphor-driven plot divided audiences, with some finding it moving and others feeling it lacked the engaging, organic narrative flow of the studio's past hits. Still, its streaming popularity demonstrated that its themes resonated more with home audiences than in theaters. Released in 2023, Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken had a production budget of $70 million but earned only $46 million at the global box office, leading to an estimated $30 million loss. The film featured a notable voice cast including Toni Collette, Lana Condor, and Jane Fonda, all of whom openly supported its feminist messaging. The story centered on Ruby, a shy teenage kraken who learns she is destined for greatness in an underwater royal lineage. In a deliberate subversion of classic fairy tale tropes, the film positioned mermaids, often portrayed as heroic or positive in Disney lore, as antagonists. This creative choice reframed traditional narratives to highlight feminist and anti-traditionalist themes, portraying the Kraken as the true protectors of the seas. Behind the scenes, reports suggested the production suffered from internal creative disagreements, leading to multiple script rewrites. While the animation style and visual design received praise, the rewrites were said to weaken the overall narrative, making the story feel inconsistent in tone and pacing. Although Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken aimed to stand out with bold thematic choices and modernized character dynamics, its polarizing messaging, coupled with lackluster word of mouth, ultimately prevented it from finding a broad audience in theaters. Released in 2021 as a Netflix exclusive, Arlo the Alligator Boy was positioned as the starting point for a larger multimedia franchise. Netflix brought in singer Michael J. Woodard, a former American Idol contestant, to voice Arlo, a cheerful, half-human, half-alligator boy on a journey to find his father in New York City. The film leaned heavily into themes of self-acceptance, diversity, and non-traditional family structures. Its cast featured a mix of diverse voices, with characters representing a range of identities, including gender-fluid individuals. This representation was integrated into the core narrative, celebrating individuality and community over conventional norms. While critics praised the film's inclusivity, whimsical art style, and upbeat musical numbers, general audience engagement told a different story. Streaming numbers reportedly fell short of Netflix's expectations, and plans for a broader franchise, including follow-up specials, were hindered by the lukewarm viewership. Many viewers felt the film placed too much emphasis on identity politics at the expense of deeper character arcs and compelling plot development. Ultimately, while Arlo the Alligator Boy was lauded in certain circles for breaking away from traditional animated storytelling molds, it struggled to resonate widely enough to become the enduring family favorite Netflix had envisioned. Batwheels, released in 2022 on HBO Max, was an animated series targeted at preschool audiences. It featured a high-profile voice cast, including Ethan Hawke as Batman and Leah Lewis as Batgirl, and was designed to blend superhero action with early childhood-friendly storytelling. Despite the strong brand and talent, the series faced challenges in reaching its full commercial potential. One notable creative choice was the introduction of a non-binary vehicle character, which the creators positioned as part of their commitment to inclusivity. While some parents welcomed the representation, others expressed concern about introducing explicit gender identity topics to very young viewers. This pushback reportedly affected merchandise sales, a critical revenue stream for preschool-targeted franchises. The show maintained colorful, action-filled episodes aimed at teaching teamwork, problem-solving, and empathy, but the inclusion of ideological themes for such a young audience became a point of contention. Parents who objected to the content often voiced their concerns on social media, leading to polarized discussions that overshadowed the show's entertainment value. Although Batwheels gained attention for its diverse cast and fresh take on the Batman universe for preschoolers, the controversy around its messaging ultimately limited its long-term sustainability and broader market appeal.